Hello, you get me? Oh man, I'm not sure what I'm feeling right now. I was okay before the nap, ironically. After I woke up, I feel my head, I feel everything kind of spinning a little bit, just a little bit. It's a bit weird. I've never had this before yet. Look at all the new experiences I'm having. So fun. Uh, why can't I hear anything? Oh, because I didn't play anything. Let's see how out of it I am today. Um, right, I don't have any soda. Yeah, I don't know. It could be that I didn't really I kind of saw this. Oh, well, I didn't see this coming. But I knew that like the place we went for lunch today with my coworkers, I knew it was gonna be a little bit upsetting to my stomach because it's very oily, but not like this. That was not what I was expecting at all. Definitely not like dizzy. I feel a bit dizzy. But yeah, I crapped myself just before stream. And you know it's bad when it smells just like what you ate. Because it's not supposed to come out the same way it came in. But anyways, should be hopefully we're fine here. I feel like today's plan. Oh shit, did I? No, I didn't. Let me export this. 13 sequence check. Is this too loud? What's happening? No, it's just for me. Let me do some. Oh, okay. I think today is the same thing. I will have to practice something that is painting related. Currently, we are working towards the Hong Kong series thingy, which requires quite a few things to be in place still, right? Some character designs you have to be out, more brainstorming and thumbnailing has to be done. But above all else is the rendering that worries me because we have nothing stable for that. And essentially the whole goal of it is to find where the point is, somewhere where it's detailed and clean enough and tight enough where I'm satisfied, but not to the point where I'm overwhelmed and I cannot continue for what is essentially gonna have to be approximately at least 30 or so at the current estimates, individual illustrations. That is the plan. That is the overarching plan. And in order to achieve that, we need to draw more and just paint more and just figure out where the line is. And I think, given the last experience of the last one, it's not impossible to paint with a photo like this. But if you paint with a photo, you're the one doing the stylization, and if you're the one doing the stylization, if I'm the one doing it without any idea of where the threshold is, it is a little bit hard to to tell, like, you know, if I should go more or less. So I think with all that being said, I think today it will be best and more effective for me to start doing some studies of other people who have already did their stylization for us. And I can either try to get it as close to what I see in their stuff as possible, or I'm just going to look at the shapes that they have, and then I'm just going to try and put down the same shapes and see how I feel about putting the shapes down. Maybe I like it, maybe I don't. Maybe we find something, maybe we don't. But at the very least, it's not going to be as scary as doing a photo. So with that being said, the bigger problem would be to just find someone to study, I suppose. Although it's not like there's a lack of... it's not like it's that hard to find. This board is filled with stuff. I'm just gonna move these guys over. Actually, these guys don't belong here. They belong here. Bloop, 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 bloop. Right, these guys are not very useful anymore. Because we're done with this. I don't want to start cluttering up this board, because this board needs to be used for our Hong Kong related stuff. So we have some things here and there. This looks like an interest. I kind of like the ocean here. It looks kind of nice. Very interesting. The ocean here is nice. This one here is a little bit rough around like these areas, but maybe that's something we can try. But today, maybe not today. Oh, this one too. This one is nice. Right, because I already have this, right? And yeah, do I want to allow for that or not? Either way, we just need to clean it up. This one is a little bit more controlled. Oof. This one has a render with filter on it, so it's a bit more. It's a bit interesting. Right, how's that going, Igami? You coming close to getting it done? The last stretch? 2 more pages or 2 more panels? 2 more pages, perhaps? I'm gonna be in the same boat. Well, hopefully I'm gonna be in the same boat by the end of the year for our Hong Kong thing. Oh, this is a lot rougher over here than I thought. I guess my eyes just never really saw it. Oh. Well, the home stretch, I guess. It should feel... Would it feel good? I would imagine it would probably feel like a bit of a relief, at least. You know, most of the technically really, really hard stuff is gone. It's just the tedious stuff left. Yeah, but I think I should... Sorry, I'm just going back to the stream real quick. I think I should intertwine photo studies and studying someone else's stuff. I did a photo study last time. I can try to do someone else's stuff this time. But yes, Igami. Mentally broken for this. Yeah, it's I am kind of tired, I have to be honest. Doing this day after day after day, it is it is getting to the point where I wonder if it's better for me to actually just stop for a bit. I mean, I've been wondering and I mentioned this a couple of times before, but those ones are kind of in like the usual amount of, hey, I'm tired, and then now it's creeping into kind of sort of dysfunctional sort of levels of tired. But regardless, I think I'm gonna push through for now, though. I can try to refine the balance within this execution of plans for now. What the hell did my pen go? Okay, it's over here. Yeah, I should stop spending time looking at random shit. I'm just gonna start doing stuff. It's weird, I think. Like, I logically feel like it would make more sense for me to stop for a bit and just take a break and go do something else, you know. It's not like I have to do art because my goals are defined to be bring Ria to life, do anything that it takes, right? So for me, I have to go on and touch music and other things. But that's not really rest either, I suppose. And then actually, you know what? This is an interesting study. This one here is kind of tricky because I don't have the same brushes. If I have a square brush, I wonder how far I can go at emulating this. I might give this a try actually. This one is pretty tricky. Right. Are you going shower? Does that mean you're going shower? Gonna go bathe to the death heat of the universe for a bit. I'm gonna understand that as it's really hot and you want to take a shower to cool down. Oh, sunbathe. To warm up. Hello, George. But yes, you got me. I'll see you in a bit then. Hello, George. Thank you for the art, George. I think it's very interesting when I saw what you drew, because I don't know when the last time it is I saw. Hang on a second. Give me a second. I might not be. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the Rias that people draw obviously are gonna be very different from what I draw. And what I thought immediately was that I haven't seen her smile in a while, was what I thought. And now that's not necessarily true because I did see other people's fan art. But personally, I think the stuff I've drawn... When's the last time I've drawn her smiling? I don't remember. Her face is always kind of just a little bit blank, right? Because by design it is. And I think it's gotten to the point where now I yearn to draw something that isn't just like that, which is good. So I can start maybe trying to make something happen myself. But yes, thank you for that. It's interesting for sure to see everybody else draw her. How do I do this actually? Let's do this instead. It's nice that it's basically black and white this time. I'm just going to block the black in and then I'm just gonna erase it instead. Try to focus on the shapes this time instead. Yeah. It is nice to have some more input. I have taken the liberty of using it for my Discord profile, because mine was just a quick placeholder that I added before. I think this is a little bit more suitable. But yes, thank you again, George. I don't know. I don't know how she's gonna be shared with others. I think it's an interesting thing. I've been entertaining the idea of maybe making some songs. Well, this is obviously very far down the line, but I've just been thinking, can't I, because she doesn't have a voice, right? And I don't intend on giving her a voice just yet, because I wouldn't know what that really sounds like, or what fits her or whatnot. But why don't I just make her hum the song instead? She can just hum the song. She doesn't have to sing it. And she can still kind of quote-unquote have a voice, right? And I can slowly work my way from there, just like how we're slowly working our way up. And eventually I can release like songs of just humming. And I kind of like that idea because songs are interesting. There are songs without lyrics. Sorry, what? Songs without voices, right? Without lyrics, and there are songs that has it. If there's a song that has lyrics, to me it sounds like you're listening to a story. But if there's a song that doesn't have lyrics, it feels like you're the one writing the story. Because then the song is mostly about the emotion. So I think it would be kind of interesting. Where you have humming, because now you have like a mixture of both. Kind of. Anyways, today's goal, like I was telling Igami, is just kind of to get a little bit more familiar with painting, maybe someone else's style. Civilization is going to require a lot more experience and knowledge, and then also just being more comfortable with painting. Part of that is figuring out for yourself, part of that is see how other people do it, and see if we can get something out of it. So I'm just going to try and emulate this with a square brush, and I'm only going to use the square brush to try to force myself to see the shapes a little bit more. But still not be that strict about it, because the brush itself has some sort of play. So that's the plan. Otherwise, it's just business as usual. That's too low. Kind of low, isn't it? Yeah, it's fine though. Oh my god. Man, how do I even do the trees? Oh, okay. Without any brushes here, we're gonna raw dog this like crazy. Holy shit, that's gonna be kind of hard. You just have to take it one step at a time, I think. Whatever whatever that means. Let's figure it out. Let's get the house in real quick. I think because we only have 2 values here, I'm just gonna have to put in this thing here. Gonna have to make some changes so that I have a little bit more idea of where everything is. Duvet will be much better at this than I am. This is where it is, right? So I'm just gonna put it here. Oh man. Yeah, that too. Yeah, interesting. Oh. not quite tilted the same way, but I guess it's fine. Okay, how do I deal with this part? Maybe I can get the trees, the trunks first. Oh boy. I'm gonna pretend that the leaves don't exist real quick. So I can get all the placement down. Oh shit, everything's so close now. No way around it. Realistically, you'd probably be using a pattern, like just a clone or something, but let's just see how far I can get away with this, and then, because I really don't want to be painting this tightly anyways in the real deal. I'm trying to force myself to be a little bit lazier and see if, yeah, all these branches and stuff, I'm sure like most of them would not be really visible by the end of it, so maybe we can just kind of like go ham with it. Doesn't have to be too tight. And see how far this can get us. Okay, now the other guys. I see. So the pattern brush is actually going. So there's probably two types of edges, I guess. The ones from the ones from the darker colors for the branches and the initial set of block-in for the leaves, and then there's another one on top for the snow, right? But because the snow is quite similarly colored, it just looks like it's one edge in some areas. Wait, hang on a second. This one is way too big. Oops. What's the target? This one as well. Maybe. Oh, I can emulate this. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. I'm kind of locked into because of the squareness, all the edges are kind of locked in this way by default with the brush. I have to put in the other types. But I guess it's better than having a round brush. It's gonna... That would be interesting if I were. Dang it. I am just, I'm not sure if it's like the bad food that I ate or if it's, I'm just, like my rest was kind of funky. But yes, hello the virus. I'm just trying to see how much I can get away with not painting. Yeah, like this is insane. Like, what am I supposed to do about this part? I have to. I guess I have to do this. Like, I just have to leave enough areas. I sometimes do wonder that myself. I had a conversation with a Japanese dude. He was asking about. I just met this guy, right? And then he was asking about. I think he was asking about relationships, and then my answer to that is that it's because I have this goal that makes it kind of hard, because I don't have any time to dedicate to anyone else. And after explaining the whole thing, he's like, yeah, I know, like, art requires suffering or something. Maybe. I feel like maybe it is required. Maybe it's like a hard requirement or something. Hello, Sparkling Zone. Is this your first time here? Welcome. I don't think I've seen your name before. But you're welcome here, of course. Okay, so I can kind of be lazy. Even if I don't have the pattern brush, I can kind of be lazy with the square. I'm just putting like tiny dots like this, and I'm just deleting it. And it's kind of has some effect. I don't know how much I like it though. Actually, now I'm not 100% sure what it is that I'm trying to achieve here, but I feel like I'll gain something just by doing this. Maybe it's just copium, but regardless, we're gonna finish this. And then I don't want to spend too much time on this. I'm gonna do some of this and then try to do some other study. Anyway, now that there's more people, I just want to briefly mention. I think the goal here is nowadays is just to work towards the Hong Kong thing. But the most scary thing of the Hong Kong thing is to be able to render stuff consistently at a level that is detailed enough to satisfy myself, but not enough to burn out too hard. So in order to do that, it has to be a lot of study, a lot of just painting in general, right? And doing it from photos forces me to simplify myself, but then that's very tiring. And if you don't have good shapes like me, I don't have a good idea of what shapes I like. I should do some studies of other people to see if there's anything I can borrow. Like right now, I'm realizing that you can kind of do this and kind of get away with it, even if the shapes are like kind of like just junk, right? But that's maybe an interesting discovery that could possibly come in handy at some point in time. But biggest project so far, yeah, like absolutely by far, by a long shot, by the way. Like the scale at which we're planning this. I mean, of course, like excluding. Oh wait, hang on a second. Let me think about this, because I feel like the live 2D planning might be a little bit more insane. The live 2D required a multi-discipline. Like you have to touch on a lot of things. So there's programming, there's art, there's rigging. There's like 3 disciplines in there. Oh yes, thank you, Sparkling Zone. I'm glad one of us think that. I like saying that, but I don't think I'm that shit anymore, not like before. But there is still quite a gap. But regardless, thank you very much. Yeah, so going back to this, I don't know. This thing is very ambitious in the sense that like it requires a lot of logical consistency in the sense of like planning stories and like telling and having the events play out the way I wanted to and the way it happened and stuff like that. But the Live 2D one is just a very technically challenging project, which we never finished, of course. Why would I ever be able to finish a project? Of course not. I was like on my way to scope out some embroidery machines and like sewing machines, and I realized that the embroidery machines are like around like $2,000 to like $3,000, $4,000, especially the ones that I required. I needed to have I can't have the embroidery be done manually. I needed to be able to ingest a vector and just automatically embroider. So those ones are really expensive. They come with like a tiny screen. But yeah, like I that's another project that's cooking. You spent like 3 streams planning. I think we spent like a week and a half, if not more, planning it so far at least. And we're nowhere near like the level of sort of clarity required to actually start painting, because I need to clear all of the sub stories and all that first before we can actually justify starting doing anything. Because otherwise, we might paint halfway and then realize down the line that hey, this isn't accurate to this subplot that we have over here, and then that's not gonna be good. Yeah, I was but yeah, it's exciting, but it's also very tiring. I think it's I've been feeling a little bit more burnt out recently. More than usual. Honestly, all of the burnt out nonsense hasn't really been that different. Like the amount of workload and planning and responsibility that I feel is always about the same. It's just that like if I don't sleep properly, it feels disproportionately heavy. I don't know what this is, man. Holy shit. It kind of works, but also kind of doesn't really work because it's just squares at the end of the day. Some of the diagonal stuff is because we explicitly put in the branches, so you can't just get away with only dotting the squares. It's gonna look kind of bad if that were the only thing. So at some point I have to go back and kind of like maybe tidy up some of these branches, like get some of the thinner branches in perhaps, to really drive home the idea. But so far it has been surprisingly doable, like to just do this. But yeah, I'm still trying to look for a maker to make a Rhea plushie, I think. I've asked one of my older, like someone I commissioned before. And she doesn't do that style anymore that I like, but she's like, maybe. I'm just waiting on a reply there as well. Some stuff moving behind the scenes. Nothing big. Nothing too important. Doesn't really change the streams, doesn't really change anything. Secondhand machine? I haven't. Right, I haven't really thought about it. The bigger problem is I don't have a car. So, unless they're willing to ship it over, which a lot of them might not be willing to, and I don't know if I can trust their packaging perhaps. But otherwise it is probably better to get something first-hand but cheaper that just works. Or I can just outsource, like contract out just the embroidery part, because it's just the embroidery that's really expensive. That's like a normal sewing machine. It's like a couple $100, you know. And it would be nice to have one too, just to do some adjustments down the line. This and that. Oh my god, I'm feeling a little bit sick. I think it is what I ate. Stupid ass food, man. Every time. I swear to god. Alright, if I can put in a little bit of branches, I think we're kind of done here. There's a few branches here. By a few, I mean like this entire web of nonsense. It is interesting though, like putting in branches, you kind of need a bit of pen weight. So you can go from like thicker to thin stuff still. So you have that option. But because like it's so tiny here, you have to be a little bit stronger with your weight manually. So I don't know if that makes sense, but figure out. Paint, yes, paint. Long story short. I need a moment here. Outside food is kind of like scary, man. Like my manager vomited the other day after eating outside fried chicken because apparently the oil was kind of bad. Like when he ate it, like he tasted like really bad oil, and then he went home and he vomited. So that's great. I haven't vomited in a while. Let's hope that it doesn't change. Wouldn't that be funny? That'd be a terrible way, like to have to change the tablet. That'd be a terrible end for this tablet. I do not want to projectile vomit on this tablet. The patience the artists need. Holy shit. I have to train my hand to not automatically lift off. I really like lifting the pen up, even if I'm drawing one. I like doing this. So it's broken, but like it doesn't really... Like some stuff like that is fine, I feel like. Maybe there's like snow or something and it's like it will appear like it's broken to us. But I do it way too often. I have to try to stop it. So I'm probably not drawing this in the correct order. There should be a like thick to thin kind of vibe because it's easier to check balance that way, but requirements are a bit lower for this kind of mess. Tempting to just go in and look at all the tiny ones, but I guess the tiny ones are the ones that's having a lot of impact too. Time is it? It's oh, it's only been like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Okay, that's good. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I should probably stop at the hour mark. And then I want to do another one, something with color perhaps. And then tomorrow we can try to do a photo again. And I think, yeah, I need to target and try to make it faster and not put in characters. But I've been over this, right? If the final one is going to have characters, and having characters to check that balance of details and like makes more sense. But oh wait, we're on the roof here. Ah, it's over here. Okay. Can I? It's kind of. I have to go down further. Square is absolutely enough, I think, to deal with this. Don't necessarily need anything else. I have floating stuff, but on the inside for the white caps is fine. Might be too evenly spread. Yeah, so maybe change the density a little bit. Branches across these. Yeah, it's so easy to get these loops and I cannot have them. But I also don't have the patience to be like going slow. Thank God. Okay, I think just here looks a bit better because we spend more time with smaller shapes. Over here, it looks like you're flying over like the Great Plains, like the middle part of America, and you see all this like farmland, and it's like all kind of broken up, but also slightly rectilinear, kind of squarish. There should be more like junk in here, I think. What? My branches look so boring. Like, by all accounts, I should just be able to do this, right? But it looks weird. But that's kind of what it looks like. What? It's just too thick. What is all this? Ooh, yeah, it's kind of interesting. I can kind of feel it in my head, like it's feeling in the back blanks somehow. And I just realized, even though we only have 2 values here, I can still show the difference between the sort of gaps through the foliage, looking at the sky behind versus like snow in the front, right? Because the snow in the front will break up these obviously their branches and stuff. Kind of. Maybe it's like, oh wait, what if I go horizontal? Because the snow is on the leaves, it kind of should fit this direction a little bit. But then maybe there are like gaps here for like the leaves, the branches again. Right, now with enough branches, I think the snow patches that's on the leaves become a little bit more obvious. Obvious. Because they're like the clear patches. Kinda. Too even, I think. This part feels too even somehow. Not enough. Separation thing. Some more snow here, and then some more snow here, perhaps. Smaller bits of snow. Hello, Kirio. I don't know what web core is. I have to take a quick look. Web core. Oh, is it the? Oh, okay. It's like the Internet Overdose song kind of vibe, right? Something. I hope it's the right idea, but it's nice. I do like it. I like it. This kind. Yeah, I think it's more just a color thing, but at least the design, an idea I do like. In my mind, it's more of like this kind of color. It's kind of locked into this for some reason. Maybe it's the vapor wave kind of thing. Very, very interesting. Kind of stop looking at the reference for a little bit. I feel like I can just kind of get away with all this spider web of things, but I noticed that there are some distinct patterns here, I guess. I mean, it's not like they're... It's not like there's a photograph. I don't have to sort of take it as the... well, what's the word? It's like a 100% source of truth, but they are using, I guess, pattern brushes to stamp it, I would imagine. So I guess it is more realistic than just whatever that I have here. Try to spend a bit of time copying this, right? Oh, it's a lot more dense over here. Right, I never really varied density, I feel like. I feel like this part here has been a little bit even. Maybe that's why it feels a little bit less natural. Like in density. Because density would be easy to do, I'm just kind of scratching it out anyways. Huh. Whereas the individual strands, you kind of want to show individual branching. Oh, let me hang on. Let's see. Hello, Dave. Welcome to the madness. Oh yeah, I can't have that kind of turns in there. What kind of disaster? I would have to be collapsed, I think, for myself to accept that. Although today was surprisingly close, so I have to be honest. I was feeling a little bit actually dizzy. But the stream has this interesting thing of making me feel better once it starts, because I find that I have to focus, and once I start thinking about stuff more analytically, then unless I am truly actually sick, most of these ailments kind of goes away. Anyway, so thank you for the daily. I'm gonna take like maybe 5 more minutes just to clear this, because we are not gonna paint this for like the entire stream. It's just gonna be like an hour, so I'm just gonna finish it off today, if you don't mind. The goal is still just trying to work towards the Hong Kong stuff, but then I figured that painting, like studying photos, is quite challenging. What the? Is my brush stuck? Huh? Anyways, yeah. Painting your photos is quite challenging because I have to come with the stylization, which I don't have a good idea of what I like. So I'm just gonna copy other people's stuff in between studies of photographs, so I can see if there's any techniques or any sort of shapes that I can borrow, quote unquote borrow. So yes, today is mostly I just wanted to take a look at the shapes, because the original is quite, you know, a lot of pattern brushes and this and that, and I want to see how far I can go without it, but I mean, it's not too bad. I feel like a lot of it is just the house and just like this part here. I feel like the inside here is kind of bad. I think it looks too even perhaps right now, looking at this. And also I guess some of the branches here are a lot stronger than like some of the branches here, I mean, on mine. Because we only have 2 values here. I mean, this is about it though. Like, even if I keep going further, we're not really gonna get too much further than this. This is like a rough idea of what it looks like. Maybe if I can just kind of adjust some of the overall vibes a little bit. It can look a little bit more similar, perhaps. Is that a property of the... But the original looks way nicer just because they have one more shade, right? It's not like we can't paint in one more gray in between. Yeah, but I think it's fine. Let's take a look at the daily room. I think we'll stop here for this one. And then I'll do something else later. Yeah, this is good actually. This is great today. Let me see. What is it? Our resources? Where is the thing again? I keep forgetting. Oh, it's our resources. There you go. Alright, we check pin first, I guess. I feel like we've seen quite a few of these. Have I been here before? I have like a similar vibe one in right here, right now, I think, right? No? Like there are these. But there was a closer one, I think. Hey, didn't I have like a whole bunch of references just now when I was like, what? Anyways, art lecturer art. Oh, I kind of have an idea of who you're talking about actually. I feel like I feel like when you did that daily, you mentioned that they're like an art lecturer or something. Like not this artist and maybe not this artist. I don't know who this artist is, by the way. I think I found them on Pinterest. I didn't do the reverse search yet. Yeah, how do I feel about this one, right? It looks nice, but I think for me, I would like the edges to be clearer and sharper a little bit, but it's still pretty sharp though. At least here, there's a lot more straighter edges. Over here, I feel like the fence is a bit fuzzy, even at this distance. Square brush, right, yeah, that thing. Is there like one with like a lot of buildings and windows, perhaps? Well, I'm gonna keep in mind the brighter edge here, because without it, the buildings will kind of melt together. I guess you won't be able to see individual buildings as clearly. This one, I guess, is already bright. This one has enough contrast, I guess. Colors are kind of consistent, pretty much. Is that a gradient even on this part here? Very, very barely a gradient. Oh. Though it is entirely in that form. Maybe it's not there anymore. This one feels pretty crisp. Lower the number of colors, rely on gradients. Oh, actually, speaking of right, so I was looking at the shapes, the gradient in the shapes. Sorry, where do I start? So what I'm seeing, what it feels like is you take like a 100% opacity hardish brush, and then you have one color, right? I don't know how they got the color. Maybe they use markers to do a color rough, and then they did a painting afterwards. Maybe they just have enough experience and know exactly what they wanted. But regardless, right? You take that one brush and you block it in, and you take a slightly different shape, and then you block in the next patch. And then with that sort of brush, you leave some gaps, and you kind of get these sort of textures. The previous one was a bit more obvious, I think, on the side here. You have these like gaps in there. I don't know if these are like a separate layer of textures. Maybe, maybe not, but yeah, you kind of have to block. And then because if you paint it like this with like color jitter, I'm not sure if it's that color jitter, because color jitter would be a little bit more jarring because you have all these like, because when you're stroking, right, you're doing that brush tip multiple times. If there is color jitter, it will be a lot more obvious in this. I think it will be a lot more sort of jittery. Right now, like the color, this purple up top and this purple at the bottom is pretty consistent. At least the kind of vibe to it. So what I'm trying to understand here is that they kind of have like basically one single color from top to bottom. So not even like a bit of a gradient, but maybe for this is a bad case because it's not really a good example because it's just one plane, right? Whereas this goes in the distance, I guess there is a bit of a general transition here. So maybe this is one giant layer and then you kind of airbrush that. And this is a separate layer on the front or something. But they also don't really do a lot of the... How do I explain this? Maybe if I just... Oh, not save image. Maybe if I just put it on top, it'd be easier to illustrate my point here. It's just that in lighting situations like this, I have a like urge, essentially, to kind of put glow along the edges here. If you get what I mean, like along, like to make this part look a bit brighter, right? Because to make the light look bright, you kind of basically just have a layer of glow along the transition. They don't really do that. It's mostly kind of flat, even if the lighting is really strong. They just don't have a lot of sort of big airbrushes in general, it feels like. I'm not sure if there's a necessarily a valuable observation. But this one does have it, right? Like this areas feel like, is it painted in? I mean, it doesn't really matter too much. That's just kind of like a thing I felt. That maybe they're not using a lot of big airbrushes, but you know, maybe they are using it. And I just can't see it. I'm kind of looking at on my tablet, so there is all the value contrast and color contrast and hue contrast is slightly lower. It's because of this thing being a little bit old. Yeah, I'm sure there is some here. There should be some here. In the back, I mean. Oh yeah, like oh, this one has a good glow on it. How do they? But so you paint it and then you do the glow up. I think that makes a lot of sense. Right. I'm gonna go to the toilet. I'll be right back. Okay. Did I open one already? Anyway. There has to be a... Oh, wait, there should be a... Let me see. I'm just trying to see the gradients. I'm wondering if there's a mathematical operation here that we can force it to come out here. Because, like, for example, if I... Let's say I just grayscale everything. Now there's only values. And then we posterize this. Where is posterization? And then we lower the number of steps. Surely we'll see like these kind of transition edges that shows the gradient, but I guess I don't really need this to see that. I want to see the color changes. It's not as good. What if I just took this out? Yeah, like so what I'm thinking here is it's kind of interesting because the same thing happens at work. You have all these different modules, and depending on the order they run, it works slightly differently, right? But like, the thing that I'm thinking of is just that, like, clearly there's a bit of an orange vibe on the top right? So there is a big airbrush somewhere at the end of it. But if you think about it, right? Let's say you start off with a blank canvas, and you're coming up with this idea of trying to get this glow coming in from the right side. So you do a color rough, right? When you do the color rough, you will be painting maybe just the base purple over here or something, and then you start airbrushing colors in, and then maybe you adjust some stuff with markers. You'll get to a stage where you will have something that looks like the colors you have here, right? But with just less crisp edges. Now, how do you bring it to a finish, right? You could just take what you have and start painting. But once you start painting over gradients, you will have all these areas where you're picking from a slightly darker color and you're painting into the brighter color, and then the perceived values would change, right? How it feels like would change. I don't know if it's that obvious here, but like... actually, no, this one... Wait, let me think. It's pretty consistent still, isn't it? I'm just thinking what the order of operations is, because for me it would make more sense to, for example, mentally separate the glow layer, like the sort of color adjustment that's giving this yellowish hue. So ideally I would have a layer here, for example, for the block in, for the blocks, and more solid, sort of more larger, like how do I say this? Other color changes, like for example between the light and the dark, like this, for example the light side and the dark side. They will be on this layer, and then there will be another layer on top that adds in this glow here. Bloom or something. This way, after the color adjustment, I can take this layer out, I can unsee this layer. I can just use these colors to do the blocking, because these are more solid and less transitional like this. And then after everything, I can return this back on. But that will require the color rough to be done in 2 steps. Like this, rather than just having everything on here. Which can be fine, I suppose. I think that's probably fine too. Anyways, doesn't really matter. I'm just going through some of the ideas in my head a few times so that it's just there. When we start painting, I'll just do whatever that's most natural, right? But I think it's fine. Anyways, thank you, Debate. Oh, I've seen this before, I think. No? Something similar, I bet. But yes, let's find another individual to study real quick. I like the ocean here. It's got a lot of interesting colors. It's got a lot of interesting shapes. It would be interesting to give this a try. This one is also similar, right? Like the brush itself is kind of broken up like that. Yeah, the sky as well is pretty nice. It's like, how do I say this? It's big shapes, but it's still kind of abstract. There's like all these like stuff from the original brush thrown in there, but it kind of works. It's got hard edges over here. It's got some soft transitions over here. It's got like the right balance, I think. It's what it feels like. How do I want to do this? Wait, let me think. Just paint forehead. Pretty much, right? Maybe I can try it. So this one, I only wanted to look at the shape, so I did 2 values here. This one here, the colors are what I like, along with the play between them. I still want the shapes, but I think I will be doing color. So maybe I'll do markers to adjust the values in the right spot, and then we can try to put in hard edges after that and see how that feels like, because that's what I feel like painting will be like in my head. Although in this case, because we have a target, I think that would be completely fine. I don't think I run into any issues there, like I would for my own stuff. This ground is actually interesting too. How many colors are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like a rake brush. I see one rake. I see one like one that I don't know what this one is called. Also kind of like a rake, but it goes the other way direction. And we have the blocking. I can use my square brush, and then these lines. It's another brush. So 1, 2, 3, 4. These waves, I feel like they probably have a... Oh, wait. I have an idea for this. We can try to do something like that. Okay, yeah. So maybe I can get away with that. Sky, we have one for whatever this is, kind of noise. I have a big, like, scratchy square over here. I do have one of those. I don't know what this is. I can't see it. Probably the same brush, I'll have to guess. Something a bit more smoky for like the clouds. Okay. I feel like we have most of these brushes. I can probably get away with this just fine. The sand is also similar. Main block in colors. Interesting. Alright, but we kind of... Oh, it's kind of interesting. Because that means it plays with opacity, but... Anyways, let's try it. Yeet. I'm just gonna do this part, I think, without the characters. I'm grabbing it just for the proportion. Gonna start off with gray here, and then we're gonna do our own color tuning and this and that, blah blah blah. Delete this. Ready. Oh yeah, I probably need this. Okay. get rid of this color first. And then we start to paint. Ah, dang it, I should have done it. Let's do a smaller version so I can not have issues with my brushes lagging me out. I'd like to do some big strokes first. Okay. Some kind of gray, green. Sorry, what's my color? Oh, it's just too saturated, too dark. Green. And more orange here. Too red. Now it's too yellow. Grayer. Not greener. What is it? Then redder? This way? Ah, okay. Okay, let me wipe my tablet real quick. It's a lot dustier than I thought it would. Okay. One clean tablet? Okay. If it's like not clean, it scratches the pen nib a lot faster. It's like it wears it down so fast. Some kind of white color. It's a bit more yellow maybe. So what? The brighter colors are more yellow, but it's kind of hard to tell actually. Like, they're all in the light zone. Even more, slightly more red. More of the orangey, brighter. Ooh, red. Orange. And then brighter, desaturate. Redder. It's not red enough. darker, even redder. Not much. Thereabouts, perhaps. Let's yeet this in here somewhere. Oh my god, it's so disproportionate. Wait a second. Let me squish this a bit. Is it still not squished now? Okay, looking at it like this now, I realize the colors are still kind of off. It looked a lot better when it was smaller. What she said. Why is it so cold? Just dilute it then. Oh, I should merge the layer down. What? No. All the colors look the same on my tablet. Yeah. Crazy. I don't know what the order here would be though. Like, what am I supposed to paint first? Whatever this covers should be going in first, right? Because I guess it's kind of weird. It's like big shapes first, yes, but then at the same time, like layers that's behind should go in first too. The goal here is to try to get that same vibe and balance, so I guess I kind of have to do that. Try to follow the original a little bit more rigorously, I think. Dang, dude. Like, I mean, this here is... I mean... Yeah, we're slowly adding back one character every stream. We're working our way back to one step at a time, currently. It's like the train, you know, you hit the end terminal station and then you turn around and go backwards. Why? I thought I had a... I need something with a bit more character to the edge, I think. Can't really see it. Although I really can't really see anything in the first place, but... Is it doing anything? God. Okay. I know I'm the one that refuses to change to a new tablet, but this is ridiculous. Like, I cannot see what the difference is of these colors on my tablet. Somehow. I guess the Hong Kong series would have to be a little bit more saturated than this. Contrast would have to be a little bit stronger, if not I can't work with it at all. The sad thing is I kind of like I like this color, right? Like that's why I kind of chose this, like color and shapes. But I cannot see it on my tablet, so I can never paint this because it doesn't have the fidelity and the quality to do it. Probably just because it's old though. I think it's not because it's a bad tablet. The other one is a bit better. I think my shapes, but in this case, the value. So usually I hate this brush, and the reason why is it kind of has like sort of unevenness to the edge, right? Like you can see the edges, but it's not the even sort of opacity. In this case, it doesn't matter too much because the you know, the contrast is so low, it's barely noticeable. But I guess that's one benefit to this. I need some kind of noise in here. I don't quite have this. Like, oh man, it's not even. Or is it? Wait, did they brush this on a separate layer and then airbrush it down? Because it feels like it's the same pad, but the colors are clearly different. It feels like it's one stroke. There's like this transitional edge right here. How do I want to do this, right? It doesn't really matter. I mean, that is kind of what I'm here for. Do I have this? What do I have? I have dirt. Don't I have dirt? Can I put the dirt here? Yeah, it's right here. I have this. Kind of get away with this, but I'm not gonna bother with too much work here. I'm just gonna do that, and then going to what am I doing? And here I'm either sensing color jitter or it's some kind of a rake brush going horizontally, and then like it's covered up by another set of markers on top. Very distinctly feeling that, but it's I'm just gonna do it. Like the whole point of this whole exercise is to try to get it to be similar if possible, but it is very awkward for me to do this because, you know, for them it's just like, oh shit, let's put in some random brushstrokes here and there. For us, it's like we're trying to mimic exactly the same thing. It's a bit awkward. But if I don't do this, then I can never sort of be aware of all of the stuff that's happening, right? I think there's no choice here. We do it. And then over it, looks like. A bit of red underneath here too. And I guess we need our square here. Big square. I get this feeling that theirs is not necessarily a square thing. I only have a square, that's all I can work with, but theirs feels more like potentially a triangle or some kind of more random polygonal kind of shape. But otherwise, this is kind of what I'm sensing from them, like from this part here. This kind of big hard brush stroke here. Very bold strokes. Not that we have to get it exactly the same. Sorry, I keep saying this, but that's kind of why I'm here for this. Oh, shit, how do I do this? It looks erased, maybe? Maybe it's like a two-step process. So if I do this, big stroke, erase a bit of it. Kinda got that vibe, kinda got it. Here. Here. Isn't art fun, guys? What great fun this is. I love art. I hope in the future when I'm, if I ever am remembered, people remember me for how much I love to draw. Holy shit. What am I even drawing right now? I can't see it. Okay, so this is too flat. This is too broken up. Sorry, I'm not supposed to be on this side. What? Where? This guy, this guy. I needed this, right? I needed this. Now I still can't see it. Where'd it go? So it's like somewhere here. You're almost done with this sky. My circle doesn't have it. Oh, but I have the circle version of this. This ought to do it. Although the texture doesn't really come out, unless I'm really light with it. It's a bit awkward, but yeah, it's barely noticeable. My texture doesn't come out as well. It is there, right? Did I turn it off? No, it's here, it's here, it's here. Yeah, it's very... I could do it the other way again. I could paint it and then do an erasure. Actually, now if I'm going to do that, I'm going to use a marker then. It's not dark. What do I use to erase? Oh, the clouds. That will work. Like this. Actually, no, I'm gonna merge. Oh. Let's have a little bit. Does it look similar? Does it? Okay, yeah, the colors. Okay, I see. Still kind of screwed over here. I don't know why I didn't see this earlier, but I think it's fine. I'm just gonna leave it. At this point, I'm just gonna leave it. Alright, anyways, let's try the water. Alright, what do I do here? My instinct is saying that I should, I need to get the rough colors in the rough-ish shape. So what we have right now is kind of the colors, but the shapes is not quite clear. I mean, obviously. But like, what I'm saying is like, I can still use a marker to have like these fuzzy edges for now. It's just that this bigger shape should be in the right shape first. Then we just go in and only add in the very, I would say, minor amount of like, well, it's not minor, but it should be more trivial because there's a lot of texture brushes that we can use here. I think I can get away with just ooh, no, it's a bit more than that. That's okay. Big shape to small shape, right? So let's start with the, oh my god, what am I looking at? I need to tune the horizon a bit more. It's a bit too gray. What? Wait, what? Did I get that? Here is a bit brighter. Okay, and the next one would be over down here, perhaps. Right, I need to go down smaller here. Let's see. Here, target. Okay, so here. So I should be fine leaving in some of the rougher brush strokes here for now. Because a lot of the harder edges and textures should cover up some of these things. And if there's left over, we can clean it up at the other ones then. A longer stroke, shorter stroke. But if I'm doing that, then I might as well start doing hard edges. What am I looking at? You can get away with it now, can we not? What brush should I use? Let's use the round one then. Two bigger brush frizz. Never mind, yeah, I think we already have enough stuff in, huh? Middle is a bit more clear. Sounds like Fontaine for a second. Oh, Fontaine, my beloved. Wouldn't that be nice, huh? Bit noisier than I would like it. If we want to nitpick, but how do I do this part now? I think the wavefront, is it called a wavefront? The foamy part, I'm gonna move it to a different layer. Because I want to paint in it, I want to erase it with a different brush to get the tips here. Wouldn't work if it's on the same layer. Ooh. Interesting use of break brush. So I want to get this stuff behind. Oh, what about the reflection? Wait, hang on a second. Why am I doing this? For this. Well, worst case layer on top with some opacity should be fine. It's not very up close anyways. Can be lazy and not have too much worry with that. 1, 2, grab. Get the proportions again. Get rid of this. layer on top. This one I have to be bold with the thing. Okay, let's just slowly push this in here. Getting here a little bit wider. Calibrate this again a little bit. Get rid of all the ones behind. Too high, a little bit high. No? No, okay, I was gonna erase it, that's fine. Okay, let's do this again now. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. So target is here. Main is here. Main goes up. Secondary goes down a little bit. And this a bit up. I think it's fine to have some differences, that makes sense. Do this here. Oh, I need to calibrate this part more. Darker and redder. But still the yellow here. And more yellow on top. And not here. Press my dark. Horizontal EU. Which one is it? I forgot which one is what. I think it's this one. Right, this will have to be the one. The right size, I think I can get something similar. Okay, never mind. It's a bit worse than I thought, but it's a bit too even. What is this? I forgot what the difference is between all these different versions of the same brushes. Right, oh my god. What was the wasn't there This one? No. This one. This one might be interesting. Too big of a brush. Oh. Well, I could do this, I suppose. It's a bit too fragmented. The original is nice because it's not fragmented to this extent. Because if it's to this extent, it feels like a little bit of a airbrush effect now. The edges are kind of blurry and soft now all of a sudden. Because at that distance we're viewing it. It's basically just... Yeah, this is nice and broken up. This ironically might just be easier to do what we did with the leaves. Where was the one brush that I liked? I moved it somewhere. I don't know where it is now. The one I drew the background here with this texture. I forgot where it went. No? The hell is this? Oh, this might have been fine for the... No, maybe not. What is this? That's weird. I thought I moved all of them here, but it's not here. Chill out. I can definitely see this pattern in the sand here, though. Like, I can put this in here. Along with something else here. Maybe the nonsense I was looking at. Oh shit, too many damn brushes, dude. Holy shit. Looks like the ruts, right? Brush? Could be a thing for the other stuff I saw. Rust? It's not rust. It's not this either. What? Texture chrome, I think? No, not texture chrome. There one that was kind of nice. Hey, this one. Looks kind of interesting. This is the same one repeated. Let me find something else. It's getting very sleepy here. This is not really gonna be any better though. They're all about the same. Alright, I'm kind of lost in the sauce. I don't really know what I'm doing anymore other than copying shapes. I don't know what all these shapes are. I guess the waves sort of spreading out. Oh shit. probably not dark enough now, right? It's probably too saturated, but My head's been uh all right. I think throughout it's been kind of okay. It's only when I first started. But yes, thank you for asking. It's I should be stabilized now. Oh, I've been stabilized for a while, I think. That's probably just like the moment when I wake up. Stomach's a little sus, but I think it might just be empty. I think. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes. Oh, this has jitter. Oh, that's what the difference is. I kind of get like a... It's kind of reminiscent of like that one I did with the tree, the study. You kind of have enough colors and you just kind of block some random shapes in. Roughly aligned with the form that you're painting. I guess in this case, it's mostly the waves crashing over. But like the balance is never really... I think there's two things. The balance of the edges, I feel like it's kind of hard to read what's happening here. Which is interesting because usually that means that it's too rough or something. Sorry, not rough. Too smooth or something, right? Like if the edges are too soft or the edges are lost, you can't really see what's exactly happening. But at the same time, I'm reading this as like hard edges still. I feel like it's harder than what I have, perhaps. Maybe I just don't agree with the shapes, I think. Right, that's one thing, and then the other thing would be the balance of the details, perhaps. And again, it might be a color thing. I feel like I'm not really seeing this pattern that I'm seeing, that I'm trying to apply in here. Part of it might be my tablet problem, but is it not big enough, maybe? Do I need more space? Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't feel as good for some reason. Maybe I'm just blind to the colors, but it just doesn't feel as good. Or maybe because it's original to compare. I'll try to wrap up this, and then I'll see how I feel about it tomorrow. I'm just gonna add in these sort of textures, these vertical lines here. And then see how much of an effect that has. Looks like just using one or two brushes. Maybe just one. One has texture and slightly wider, one doesn't, I feel like. And do it on separate layers so I can turn them off. And let's see. What? This is a bit too much, right? The one I have is four-sided, that's fine. Where is it then? This one? This guy really likes to turn on me. Oh, you know what? Oh yeah, I should be okay. Do I have a brush? Yeah. Do I not? I don't yet. Oh, I have to turn this off. What direction is it right now? It's kind of slanted. Why is it like 3D-ish kind of? Set this to horizontal. Oh, because it's kind of... Oh, I see. They're not like dots or something. It's okay. We can make do with this. I think it's fine. I just have to not go sideways too much because it's a bit too wide, I think. Alright, let's see what we can do here. So I need to add some tiny ones here. Am I blind? What? Let's see it. Yeah, it's not as easy to add because of how wide the dots are. Relative to the spacing. Do I have another set? I could use this one. Is it this? No, there was another one. God damn it. Although this is way too distinct. Ah, maybe it's fine. I'm just gonna try this. It's not actually better though. I was hoping for something that's a little bit more, you know, just thinner, smaller dots, wider gaps. This, yeah, because it's got like this weird shape, it sort of implies more than just texture, I feel like. It's trying to imply something else. That there's some specific form there. Maybe I can make do with this instead. Is this on ribbon? Not ribbon. Turn this up. No texture on it, so it's just a tip that's being funny. Right. I think it's like a perfect fit here. It should be the same problem, I think. Wait, what is this? Did I left? Did I leave that there by accident? I could just make the brush right now. I'm just too tired to bother. I say as I'm gonna do this right now. What did I name it as? Ah, here we go. Of course I name it as Tess. Come on. Why would it be anything else? How should I do this? I need to make the dots smaller but wider apart. And ideally a square. Roughly. Just double the gap might be fine. Oh, what the? What was this called? Oh, this is the comb, right? This is the... No, I should just keep the... Let me do this. This should be better, I think. God. Kind of. Anyways, this will have to do. Yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of hard to let this go sometimes. Like, I don't have to get it the same, but then I feel like I have to get it the same, or like there's no point, and then... Sometimes it's just... I don't know. I think sometimes it's helpful to try to be a little bit more perfectionist, I suppose. Does this count as perfectionist? To me, it doesn't really feel like it, because it feels like if you don't do it like this, it's not right. As in, like, you don't get what you're supposed to get out of it. So it doesn't feel like being perfect. It feels like the bare minimum. It's how it always feels like. Like making videos as well, like I feel like there's a need for there to be a greater plan. Like I don't just want to make a one-off thing. I kind of want to have a clearer plan as to like a series and how that series might be like and what like people will get out of it, the consistency between all the different pieces. Of course, like initially that wasn't the case, right? But initially I wasn't really expecting it to go anywhere. But once it starts doing something, where the hell am I? Why am I painting? I feel like I'm all over the place, but could be fine too, I suppose. VFX, 50% of it. No, I think VFX. I think some of the is VFX kind of like shader-ish kind of coding? I cannot do graphics coding. Anything to do with graphics tend to have a lot of math, a lot of linear algebra, a lot of matrix transformations, a lot of coordinate systems, this and that, I think. I can't quite remember. But linear algebra was kind of stressful, I think, I remember, as an undergrad. But yeah, I cannot imagine. Like, I see people do shaders in VR chat. Shader programming and stuff like that, and it would be like damn a lot of math. Like holy shit. I think it's cool. I think it's very cool that you can learn something and you can apply it and have it be useful and actually see how things change. Maybe like if I get past the initial sort of the difficult part of, you know, learning and sort of connecting the dots, right? You need to understand how the math translates into pixels and how that affects how things move and feel. Once you get past the initial, I'm sure it'll be a lot easier. But I just don't have the capacity to do it anymore. It's doesn't feel like it's worth the effort. I don't really like programming. I think it's cool in the sense that you can make stuff happen. Very real stuff happen, right? You can, if I want to put a website up, I can just put a website up. But oh my god, game dev, I think eventually we'll get our go at it, I'm sure. There's so much to do and try and I was entertaining another concept for like art for game because I don't know how RIA's story should be told. But I think it'd be interesting if the player is put into the same position where you essentially have to choose to sacrifice RIA to some extent. Like how much it will be up to you, right? For like in-game progression or like in-game benefits or something. It wouldn't be very fun to play though, I don't imagine. I don't know how to make it fun, but but it will be kind of interesting because at the end of the day, it will feel very similar. Where, yeah, like, and you can see whether people would have made the same decisions or not. I'm seeing some color difference right now as I take a look like this. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting, right? Because if you watch like a manga or like a movie or like an anime, you're not really making choices. Things just kind of happen and you're watching. But if like there's a game that forces you to, say, sacrifice characters, kind of like Cult of the Lamb, right? In order for certain benefits. Now you are the one making that choice. You don't have to make that choice. But if you do it, you get like a lot of benefits and this and that. And depending on your goals and what you want to achieve in the game, you may have to do it. And then the goal, and then the point is to have RIA be sort of the center of it all. It'd be kind of cursed for me to make though. It'd be a very cursed game for me to make. Anyway, it's just a thought right now. I think, okay, so I'm kind of down with this. I don't really like some areas of it. I think what's happening is it's a very delicate balance, I think, because let's say, for example, I have no experience with painting, then the only thing I can do is to just try to copy every single shape I see, right? And in this process, I gain confidence. In this process, I get a better feel for like the kind of brushes and this and that I should be using, how I should be moving the brushes, that kind of stuff. But then like at some stage, I feel like that is inherently very limiting, because once you're getting so caught up with the tiny shapes and this and that, you kind of lose sight of the bigger picture of like why the shapes are there. Like I'm copying the sort of quote unquote waves and stuff like that, but mine is like always gonna feel very bad because I don't feel very in the flow when I'm copying the shape, since I'm looking and putting down, looking and putting down. And then I also don't necessarily feel like the form itself that much. So I think after doing this once, and I get an idea of like maybe how many colors there are, and like what kind of shapes there are, and what kind of brushes there are. If I ever do something similar again, I should probably repaint this, honestly. But like, I should just be a little bit more loose. I don't have to care about being the same. I just have to get an idea of, oh, okay, so there's a like an ocean color for the very far back. There's some darker color, I don't know why, but there's some darker color, then it returns to the ocean color. There's some brighter colors because the sand is getting more, like the water's getting more shallow, this and that. I will try to think at this level instead of trying to copy the color in the shape. And then for the form, I also just kind of keep it very loose. It's just, okay, long horizontal strokes, left and right, left and right, left and right. And if it looks too rigid, I'm trying to try and break it up, make it a little bit more wavy, you know. That way, like, even though I didn't do the exact same shapes, I think it's clearer in my head what I wanted. And then whatever that I come out at the end, it should be a little bit more smooth, I think. Instead of just copying shapes where I have no idea what the bigger picture is, things are kind of broken, this and that. It's interesting because you kind of have to do, I think you kind of have to do the first step so that you can do the second step, but either way though, it feels kind of similar to the tree one. You brush in a bunch of colors here and there, and then you just try to find forms within. And I'm kind of liking the square brush. Like there are these ones are kind of, to me they look kind of incomplete, but I have to admit that zooming out, just taking a glance at everything is you know, it's great. It serves to it conveys the idea. I think same thing for the tree too, right? It doesn't have to be a square. I could just change it to be a triangle, and maybe stuff will work a little bit better for the leaves or something. I don't know. Yeah, but it feels like I'm getting a little bit more like not confident necessarily, but just more comfortable with just putting down colors and then finding some shapes of it. Slowly, I think. Slowly but surely. But yeah, that's kind of it for this thing, I think. I forgot what I want to talk about previously about the games and stuff. I kind of forgot. Oh, right. I remember what I wanted to say. Right. I think we are at the stage where, as much as I want to get like super duper good at art, I think it's not my calling to go to the extent of like, say, Ask or something. To commit all my time and effort to just one thing, which is just drawing art. I think I would like to. We need to stabilize, of course, right? We need to conclude this style development process. So we need to stabilize, and then do the Hong Kong thing. And then once the Hong Kong thing is done, I think we can conclude the streams for like 2D art. It doesn't mean I'll never do it again. It doesn't mean that we won't do studies or we won't try to have new art, right? But I think I would like it to be a little bit less sort of strict, I think, at that point. I want to, like, okay, you know, I'm tired, I'm this and that, you know, I'm falling sick, this and that, overextending. But I don't want to let it go until we have something concrete, something that I feel like is a solid foundation, that I feel like I've achieved something for once in my life that I wanted to do. Maybe YouTube channel is kind of already that, but just for art, like. So I don't want to just end, but so I want a nice conclusion, right? So I think if we can do the Hong Kong thing, we can have a consistent style, have a story, have like a series that we can eventually potentially make it into a book. I think that's a really good conclusion to at least this sort of style development series. And then following that, there might be different streams for different things, right? There might be streams just for like doing studies of like more sort of hardcore, like really high level rendering kind of stuff. Maybe we try to develop a separate style that's dedicated to say doing character art for like games like Arknights, where you have a higher requirement for rendering and it's not necessarily about storytelling. All of that like a death flag. I don't know, half the time I feel like the stuff I say is basically like a death flag. I also don't care anymore. I'm kind of too tired for that. I've been this is a bit of a tangent again, but like I've been getting these streams where I'm just kind of like trapped in places, like a tube of water or something, and then you're just slowly drowning. And usually it's very anxiety inducing. But I realized that like my way of getting out of it is you just kind of accept death for a bit. The moment you accept like, oh yeah, it's fine, I'm just gonna die here, I guess. And then all of a sudden everything relaxes. Because you're like, I don't care anymore. And then it sort of recovers. It's a bit backwards, but there's a bit of a tangent. Going back to the streams, right? So we conclude the style development. We have dedicated streams for different things. Maybe one for pushing the limits of my technical skill, doing composition, stuff like what Min does, you know, like crazy compositions. That's art side. Maybe I can have a different one for playing around with DAWs, like digital audio work. I don't know what it stands for, but like maybe making some simple music, simple tracks. I'll probably like get baseline understanding, you know, so I'm like not dog shit. That would be another idea, and then I can maybe basically just open up myself for like spending this stream time for other forms of art. I think would be nicer, so we're not always stuck in this one medium. And then yeah, I don't know, like we could be doing music, we could be doing 3D, we could be doing simple games, potentially. Very unlikely that will be early in the process, in the sort of diversification. There might be another live 2D attempt. So at the very least, clean up the PNG one. Because by then the style will be stabilized, right? Like that's the assumption. So we can definitely clean that up. Then maybe add some more interactive element for you guys, like for the chat. Right, I've been talking about. I could add it now, I suppose. Just like one weekend, I just sit there and ask AI to code it for me because I am too lazy. But like something where you guys can type exclamation mark commands, right? We would just do it manually. And then I don't know what could happen, but I guess something on screen could happen, right? I can write either a plugin for OBS, or I can make a separate window and then have OBS capture that. And then you guys can make soundboards happen. I don't know, like stickers and confetti and stuff like that. We basically just do like what people do on Twitch. Actually, you know what? Maybe we'll just move over to Twitch. Maybe we'll just move over to Twitch, actually. But yeah, that's the greater plan at this point. I would like to try to conclude the series. And then we can try to do something else, perhaps. Yeah, do I have that? Where did I put it? Because the sketching. I feel like it would be nice if we can get rendering to a point where I feel okay, like satisfied with it, properly satisfied. Like not even like super satisfied, just like baseline satisfied. Right now I'm looking at this nonsense, and some parts of it I like, some parts of it I don't like. But I think for line art and sketching, for the most part, it's kind of stabilized quite a bit more than I expected, I think. Right, thank you, Devarus. Yeah. It would be nice if I needed to be at that point, actually, for the conditions to clear. The winning condition is that I have to feel like that for rendering. A lot of these older renders, I go by, I look at it, I don't really like it, but granted, I know that I didn't fully properly render it. Yeah, this is Christmas. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with any of this, but like, what is the missing gap, right? Honestly, at this point, I feel like it might just be a me problem. You know, it's like that one thing, right? Like if you have like 10 relationships and they all ended badly, then it's probably a you thing rather than your partner. So I'm looking at all these styles and there's always something that's missing. Then I wonder if that missing thing is actually in the art or not. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just all in my head. It's always been in my head. A lot of things. Yeah, maybe it's just that. It is just the approval that I'm seeking, I think. Like I don't do Twitter and stuff like that. It's not necessarily because I don't want the approval. I don't want the attention. It's just that it's not from who I want. Hmm. Actually, it's interesting because I only so like I only want it from Ria herself, right? I'm doing this from my point of view. I'm doing this for her. I'm not really necessarily enjoying this process. I just want to create a world. I just want to give her something. But if I'm drawing for her, then I should think about what kind of art she might like, right? I suppose. Then that might also help me tie down the style. Because I myself am not that interested. That's probably also why like all these different styles, it's so hard to choose one. Because I don't really have a preference myself necessarily. Any one of these I could just choose and be okay with it. But because I'm doing it for her, I don't know what's most suitable. That's why I'm kind of bouncing back and forth, I suppose. So maybe I should do it from her, for her point of view. I don't know. Let me check. I don't know what the Denpa aesthetics is. I have never heard of all these terms before. I am... Oh, you mean like psychological horror primarily found in visual novels? Is this what you're talking about? No, I'm much better now, Dubey. Thank you for asking. Once I start streaming, usually things stabilize within 30 minutes. If it doesn't stabilize, I'll probably really actually have to hop off because it means it's pretty bad. This is weird, I think, the virus. I don't think she herself fits this aesthetic. I think it's more of a me thing. And she's more of the anchor, because it's kind of okay. This doesn't happen very often, but sometimes, you know, like when people say like they're paranoid or like psychotic break, it is kind of interesting because I felt like the beginnings of these like sort of more intense, sort of more sort of severe conditions before, where you're just kind of sitting there and nothing is happening, and you know nothing's happening, but you just feel really uneasy, and you just feel this pressure building and building and building and building, and it feels like it's you're going insane because there's nothing happening. And then your chest tightens a bit, and then it becomes a bit harder to breathe a little bit, and then slowly it builds and builds and builds and builds. I think that's kind of what this is, where it's just like nothing there physically, but like mentally you're just kind of slowly going insane. Yeah, I think that might be a good game concept, right? Because if this is my experience, and it sort of echoes like how Ria got her scars as well. So it could be a game where basically the main character kind of just goes insane slowly, and then Ria serves as the anchor. And then in order for her to serve as the anchor, she will get hurt in the process. I think this is pretty real. I think in real life, I think there are a lot of cases like these. yeah, I mean, it might be interesting as well. Dang, there sure are a lot of these aesthetics and stuff that what was the one that Kirio talked about earlier today? A web core, right? Yeah, there's like so many of these. But anyways, that's the plan, at least for now. I think yeah. Maybe I should play some of these games. I keep saying it, but I'm too tired to play these games. Nowadays, I just spend all my time on YouTube Shorts. I'm gonna hop off here and go spend all my time on YouTube Shorts. Tomorrow, I'll take a quick glance at this tomorrow just to see how I feel about it tomorrow. I want to know if it makes a difference. But if possible, I think tomorrow... What should I do tomorrow? I want to do like a photo thing. Yeah, maybe I do a photo thing. Photo thing with like just like hard edges and hard brushes and see how that goes. The previous one that I did was, I think, it's pretty representative of what we end up with, I think. I don't know where it is right now. Maybe this time I'll paint without rulers or something. Anyways, we'll see. Yeah, I'll just find something and paint something. I need to dissociate from the sequence a little bit. Less involved, less emotional investment and more execution, I think. But anyways, thank you guys for coming. Oh, it's right here. There's this one. I will see you guys tomorrow for more of this fun. Anyways, have a good night, guys. Thanks for coming again. Goodbye.